Okay, hello everyone and welcome back to the show. Today we've got none other than Aleksa on the show with us. Aleksa, welcome mate. How are you?
I'm good. How you doing, Benz?
Yeah, mate, doing really good. We're winding down to the end of the year, so it's going like the speed of light, but can't wait for the break, mate. Can't wait for it.
It's always crazy towards the end of the year. Like, wait, it's December already? A week from now, but you know.
It's absolutely nuts, mate. It's absolutely nuts. Now, Aleksa, tell us, where did your Kill Team journey start?
Well, my journey started one day when this individual, a certain Jay, walks into my store and he's talking about how, I'm the best player on the Oceania. No one can beat me. Oh, it's so boring. And I think, well, you know, I'm kind of bored of 40k right now. I'm kind of bored of this thing. All right, let's try this Kill Team thing. We play a game. I got no idea what's happening. I'm playing Wormblade, who their whole thing last edition was they could change their orders turn one, flip their orders. I'm not even doing that. I'm deploying engaged on turn one. God knows what's going on. Lose the game. Second game, all right, I vaguely understand what's happening. It's a bit closer. Third game, kick his ass. And there we go. And
mate, the rest is history. The rest is history. So you did rock Wormblade. Now, mate, I remember you were quite fond of them for quite some time, and they were a pretty cagey team early in the second edition. You're still finding them with loads of play now?
I mean, they've got some play, but I'm a very jumpy person. I play a team for a little while, then I move on to something else. I stuck with Wormblade for a while, but I haven't played them much this edition. The only sort of carryover team I played a lot of was Corsairs because they're kind of my go-to, my sort of like comfort place. But generally I'm just switching teams a lot. That's how I tend to go.
Yeah, no, and it's good to have that variety, right, mate? It's definitely good to flip between. And I was actually talking to Shrub earlier today, and I said, "Oh, look, you can't just sit on one team. You got to bounce between at least two or three to get the feel right, because it's really important that you not only understand how certain teams play, but where the weaknesses are in what you're playing, right?"
Yeah, I mean, the more teams you play, the more you'll understand the game as a whole. I think that's if you want to really be really good and get a real understanding of the game, like playing teams across the spectrum is a very important part of that.
Yeah, definitely, mate. Definitely. And Aleksa, tell me, mate, your trajectory has been huge, right? Because from where you started off with Wormblade, you know, in your store, that first game, I mean, quickly, few events popped up here and there, and you found yourself at the OCC finals, right, mate?
Yeah. Smashed it out in the, was it? I think it was about a year from when I started playing. Something like that. 8 months, maybe 8 to 10 months, something like that.
Yeah, good solid 12 months. And look, you took out the OCC finals, grabbed one of the 2 golden tickets, right?
Yeah.
And then you were over at Worlds.
Yep, that was the first proper Worlds. It was the Chaos Cult versus Commandos showdown, all the way from start to finish, and then we had a nice cheeky little mirror match for the finals.
Mate, and you took it out, right? Which was huge.
Yep.
I mean, it certainly helped put Australia on the map for sure, but your capability there in that mirror match was solid. I mean, I remember being glued to that intently and just watching the shenanigans that unfolded. But like your experience at Worlds, and it's funny because you do say the first proper Worlds, and you know we hear Travis and a couple of the others talk about that 8-man tournament. And where was it? New Mexico or something like that?
Yeah.
That was called out, but it was the first proper Worlds, and you took that out. And I remember seeing a couple of recaps, and I know you had a couple of impromptu interviews, but sitting there with John Sauer and Harver at the end of it, I mean, that was quite solid, wasn't it?
Yeah, I mean, it was great. Like, we all sat down, we had a laugh, we had a chat. It was wonderful. I mean, like, I beat the Spanish guys, but they were all lovely and friendly, and it was amazing. Like, there wasn't any, like, bad blood or anything. It was just camaraderie and friendship and all that.
Yeah, no, I think a lot of goodness is found in that level of play, right? And, you hear a few interesting stories here and there, but 95% of the time, it's nothing but respect for one another and just, like you say, camaraderie and, a really good time playing against, the same level of player or elite players, or even players of different skills across the globe, right?
Yeah, I mean, like at the end of the day, if someone's in it for the right reasons, you're gonna have a good time together and you're gonna have a fun time. Like some people maybe get stressed or too serious or this or that, but that happens. But by the end of the game, most of the time, you're right. Sometimes there's exceptions. There's always exceptions, but most of the time, you laugh it off, you shake it off, you shake hands, and you chat for the rest of the tournament. You ask how you going, if you won your games, if they've lost, they've had a horrible game, you give them a little hug, that kind of stuff. But
hugs all around, mate. That's a fantastic. And tell me, Aleksa, like you're no stranger to competitive tabletop, right? You've been playing your 40K, AOS. What other systems have you played, mate?
So I got back into Warhammer. Oh my god, maybe like 7 years ago, 6 years ago, something like that. And I got super into Warhammer Underworlds. So I smashed a ton of Underworlds tournaments back in what was it? Night Vault and Beastgrave? Was it Beastgrave? They all have weird names.
Yeah.
I can't remember. The second and third season, I played a ton of tournaments of that. I got super competitive on that. I've got like 4 or 5 trophies for that somewhere. And then I got into Lord of the Rings after that. I played Lord of the Rings. Was one of the top players in at least Sydney, maybe Australia. A good friend of mine, Chris Tott, is still smashing most of the tournaments. We practiced a lot during COVID, so that was my next thing. Then after that, I played a bunch of competitive 40K, dabbled a little bit with Sigmar here and there, and then landed on Kill Team, 3 years ago now, something like that.
Yeah, it would have been about 3 years ago for sure. And this year, second crack at WTC as well, right? You were there the year before, and in 2025, and some great results there too, right? Especially in 2024, it was a solid effort for the first round of the team there. But then this year, you made some quite decent strides. I mean, you came first overall, right?
I came second in the singles. I came first overall in the teams format. I went undefeated. Correct. I think I was the only one who went undefeated. And as a team, we came 6th in 24, and we came 4th overall this year. So we were playing for third, which is pretty exciting. Nice. And we took UK to a draw, who came second, and we were like 2 or 3 points off from drawing the Spanish team that won the event. So pretty massive performance from everyone.
Yeah, super strong performance, mate. Congratulations. And that wasn't your first crack at a WTC style event, if I'm not mistaken, right? You'd played WTC formats before. Was that for 40K?
Yeah, I'd played for 40K. I hadn't captained, although I did a lot of strategy and stuff with the captains, and that was my first time. Oh, no, actually, I lie. I captained the team. I did actually captain. I captained our B team for one tournament, and that was quite fun. Most of them, the team was there just for fun, and it was just kind of like a mess around thing, but it was good times. But yeah, it was my first time like captaining from start to finish the big squad and everything.
And when we look at it, I mean, there's a lot of grandeur that comes with WCW. And when we look at it retrospectively between WCW and WTC, not only are they very different formats, but the level of play is quite intense as well, right? A team style format, because you're not just playing as a single, you're playing as an attacker, defender, or a swing, and there's 5 of you. Is that correct?
Well, it depends, something like that. Like, well, you're right. There is an added level of pressure to an extent where you are not just playing for yourself to win. Depending on who you are, you might have to you might be expected to just crush every game. You're right. There's an attacker. There's a few different terms: attacker, defender. Those are the main ones. Or shield. I guess technically it's like shield and sword is what you generally call them. Your sword player is usually playing something overpowered as hell and trying to score a massive W, like winning by 10 points, ideally. That gives you a nice 20-0 scoring, because in a team's format, it doesn't just matter that you won, it actually matters how much you won by. And also, it doesn't matter that you just lost. If you can keep it close, that gives your team a better chance of winning. So even if you're losing, I'm going to lose, you actually have to really fight for every point when you're losing. And when you're winning, you can't just I've won, now I can calm down. You have to squeeze every point you can out of them, because it might be the difference between your team winning and losing, depending on if you won by 1 point or 10 points. That could swing from you losing that match to you winning that match against that other team.
Yeah, no, that's solid. And that certainly brings a different flavor to the game, right? Because knowing how you've got to essentially perform to carry the team or to support the team is far more layered than playing on your own.
Yeah, and it's I don't think it comes up that much. Like, you're generally just trying to survive and win, especially when you've got like those high-end matches where you're matched against like top players. Like, you're not trying to like, man, I'm gonna beat Ace by 10 points this game for sure. Like, I'll try. Maybe I will. Hey, maybe I will, but maybe I'm not. But that more comes down to the strategy of the draft. Like, who is going to try and do what for the team. Some people might have to be sacrificed. Some people might have to go big. But yeah, there's a whole extra element to it there.
Hey, and speaking of Ace, I saw that photo of you and him at the end, right? Just looking pretty fried. That would have been like, how many rounds was that?
14 games in, yeah.
Bloody hell, that is insane. That is insane. Hey, you both looked good for 14 games in. And when we're talking about those sacrifices, hey, I kind of got the impression that Samwise was a bit of a punching bag at WTC. Is that correct?
Look, he wanted to be the Shield. I don't know what to tell you. I didn't ask him to. That's what he wanted to do. And I was like, okay, someone's got to do it.
He's going to go tank. He went tank with Blooded, right?
No, Brood Brothers. He tanked all the Hierotech and Sanctifiers games for the most part.
Yeah, he plays Blooded so often, though. I mistook it for that.
He was playing Blooded beforehand, and then we were just like, Brood Brothers just kind of do the same thing but better, so we switched him over to that.
Yeah, and you had other people on the team this year as well. Was Taz from Queensland, Emma from New South Wales, as well as Liam, yourself, and Sam. What did everybody play?
So I was running Sanctifiers because, my God, were they good, and they're my kind of team. Taz is playing Hierotech. That was really the two most broken teams at that point in the meta was Hierotech and Sanctifiers. So got to run them both, of course.
Got to run them.
Sam was running the defense on Brood Brothers, trying to tank those two broken teams and not lose by too much. Emma was on Raveners, and our general strategy was there's certain maps that Raveners are bad on, so we'll put everyone who's not Raveners on those maps first to kick them out of the pool, and then Raveners get a good map, and if they get a good map, it's really hard to stop them. And then Liam was on Goremongers, chopping people up, charging in. That's everyone, yeah.
And that was Goremongers before the nerf, right? Before their Gore tanks got nerfed.
I think it was post the...
Post?
No, they hadn't gotten nerfed yet. No, they were still unnerfed. Yeah. Yeah,
quite formidable prior nerf, right?
Honestly, they're the team I regret bringing. They were formidable, but one of the things about Goremongers is they're a team that warps the meta. So because Goremongers were good, everyone played things that were good against Goremongers, which made Goremongers bad.
Yeah, wow.
So
wow. And hey, if you had to go back and switch the teams around, knowing what you know now, what would you have taken or what would you have assigned to the team?
My one change would have been to put Liam on Nemesis Claw instead of Goremongers.
Ooh.
That would have been my one change. Or maybe Warp Coven, but he hasn't played as much Warp Coven, so probably comfort-wise, I would have put him on Nemclaw.
Nemclaw. Yeah, that's really interesting. And mate, when we're looking at the game, the game has certainly changed quite a bit. In a couple of the episodes prior to this, we spoke about elements where, the response from the community, especially when Jaegers came about, people were talking about game-breaking capabilities with them being able to take a shot in the strategic phase. I think the game in itself is evolving, and the game designers are doing a great job at it, right? Because it's getting a lot more intellectual and a lot more layered, especially with 3 objective markers, kill op, tac op, and crit op. When we look at the game compared to what it was when we first started playing in 2nd edition, because I know nor you or I played 1.0.
Yeah.
When we're looking at it from that aspect, how do you think the game has changed for the better?
So I think the game has gotten a lot more punchy and a lot more fighty. Whether that's for the better, that's up to you. The game is much more at a core level straightforward, and then the teams are more complicated. So like what's happening on the board itself, if you just had like the 2 most playing teams ever, there's less happening. But more of the complexity is in having interesting, complex team rules. Like the things like Battleclade or Sanctifiers are these really crazy teams with a lot of layers of interesting mechanics that let you sort of modulate the complexity of the game by the team you pick rather than the game just being complicated. Now, I love when the game is complicated, but I'm not everyone, and I understand a lot of people prefer the simplicity and the more straightforward nature. There's only 3 objectives: go punch each other.
Yeah. Unga bunga, right? As Travis would say.
I mean, I understand the love for the Unga bunga. I might not partake, but you know what? Nothing wrong with it.
Hey, absolutely nothing wrong with it, right? Look, there's been a couple of really interesting comments on Reddit and so forth where people are returning back to the game after playing, a few games of second edition and then returning to the game in third and just going, wow, this is really complex. And again, I think if you get a proper introduction to the game, as I know you run a lot of intros and so do I think as long as it's explained properly in a step process, there's a lot more enjoyment out of the game. Well, that's what I personally think. And people who I've run through intros certainly feel that way as well, because to your point, it's less about how other people think a team should be played, you playing it how you want to be playing it with the capabilities the team has, right?
Yeah, I mean, a good introduction is key to everything. Like if you just get tossed into the deep end, unless you're already really familiar with like war games and tabletop games, etc., the game is just not gonna click, and you're just gonna bounce off. That's true of every game. Like if you get tossed into 40k without any explanation, you're gonna bounce. If you get tossed into Sigma, you're gonna bounce. Like these games have a very big initial curve that has to be jumped over before you can actually start to properly get into the game, basically.
Yeah, to appreciate and enjoy it, right? Because I think, the more you get your head around some of the basic mechanics of Kill Team, the much more enjoyable it is for you. And, things like deployment, things like positioning, things like movement, like you get those elements right, the game can really be positive and fun as you add additional layers going through your journey, right?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. The core mechanics you have to understand before you can actually start to have fun with it.
Yeah, couldn't agree more. And tell me where we're at with version 3 or Kill Team 3.0 right now, and I guess where we are in season 2. How are you enjoying the game, mate?
I'm enjoying it. I'm having fun just messing around with different stuff. I've been playing a bunch of Felgor, abusing flank like it's nothing, like it's going out of style.
Nice.
I guess I have been unga bungaing a bit. I just say flank and charge.
Nice, mate. Nice.
But yeah, taking a bit of a break post WTC. Like that was a very intense practice schedule, so we're just I'm playing a lot less at the moment because I'm kind of in the down low between the seasons, between the year, and then when we go into next year, gonna ramp it up again slowly as we go. Right.
That's awesome. Yeah, it's good to take a break, right? It's good to take a break and a bit of a, brain break and relax and chill, but then get straight back into it as it starts to ramp up again. And I don't know about you, but I picked up Dead Silence and I'm absolutely bonkers for the Dark Star team. I can't believe how well that team has been designed. What are your thoughts on Dark Star?
They're super cool, and they need to be able to double shoot. They're really like, I think I read them and I was like, man, this team would be sick and I would love to play this team. They just need slightly more damage. Like they're going to struggle to stop certain things. They have a lot of really great defensive tools, but they're just lacking in a way to cross the board. Basically, that's their main weakness I see with the team. But I agree. Like I love the chaff flares. I love all the reactive movement. I love the anti-charge tech. It's all super sick. I just want to be able to double shoot.
And the accurate 3, right? I think they're designed to just sit back and wait for people to get over into their half and just really destroy. So they're, in my opinion, they're a TP3, TP4 point scoring team.
Yeah, you're kind of right. But the issue is, what if your opponent just doesn't come to your side of the board?
That's a true thing, man.
If they can constrain the Unga Bunga within themselves to just a little bit. And just sit on the middle objective, and they go, "Come now, stealth suit. What now?
Oh,
accurate 3 now."
Literally, I was playing a team against Canoptech, and I'd only lost 3 models, and half my models were up the board, and Canoptech the other week was sitting in its deployment zone and just denied me points, and I'm just like, what the hell? How is this a win? But it wins a win, man.
A win's a win.
Shout
That's
out
it.
to Pete. Yeah, for winning
that. If you get
that.
a win, it's good. Yeah.
100%. But I think you're spot on there. Do you reckon strategic ploy to allow, or actually a firefight ploy to allow one model to shoot twice per turning point would do the team?
That's all they need, I think. Yeah, that's really all they need, I think. Like, just give me double shoot once. They just need a little bit more ability to create aggressive plays and aggressive pressure, and they'll be awesome.
Yeah, no, I couldn't agree with you more. And tell me, Tomb World as a map, how are you enjoying it with the light terrain and the teleporters?
It's really cool. It's really interesting. Tomb World presents a lot of new challenges. There are some really fun interactions you can do on the teleporters, like putting Jaeger mines and things on top of them. Although I think they might have fixed that now. But even so, there's some really interesting stuff you can do with them. And I'm really excited because of how modular it is to just go crazy making maps, because you could do that with ITD, but it was kind of annoying. With Tomb World, it's super easy to have fun creating maps. And that's one of my favorite things to do. So
yeah, no, it is super cool. It's less complex, but look, as a TO, I personally do prefer the way Yellow Dark links in and doesn't allow you to.
You need a little bit of blue tack in there and all the joints and things.
This is what Sam said. But I genuinely like the way it comes together, transportation-wise. Yeah, my heart still goes out to Yellow Dark. But tell me, the teleporters and Envoy, how easy is that to score?
On some maps, it's really good. Yes. It can be a bit telegraphed, but yeah, it's very strong. Envoy is a pretty good tack op.
It is a pretty good tack op, especially if you leave it till the last activation and
get
over there without losing any wounds.
Yeah,
solid. Yeah, look, I think in all honesty, the dynamics of the light terrain in Tomb World bring a different element to the game. I also personally like the fact that the doors don't actually provide cover and you don't have to move around them.
Yeah, it is a lot easier logistically, and you don't have to ask yourself, well, where's my cover line when I shove my base under the door?
Exactly.
Who knows? No one knows.
Yeah. I think that's provided a lot more clarity for players as well, right?
Yeah.
But the light terrain definitely helps, obviously, unless you've got Seek or anything like that. But I think that brings a different level of capability to the game as well. And I saw at LVO actually with some of Dakota's maps, he was using barrels and stuff like that to kind of mimic the same kind of capability. And I think that works as well, right?
Totally. Yeah. I mean, when you're building an ITD map, if you're using the old terrain, you can totally put other scatter in there. There's nothing stopping it.
Yeah. No, I think it works really well. Pivoting back to competitive play, Aleksa, only because you're so focused around this and obviously a really good player. When we look at the scene globally, and looking at your experience versus different countries and pockets you've played, as well as the growth and the explosion of the competitive scene, not just for singles, but teams as well. I know for a fact the people over at Frontline Gaming are running their teams tournament now as well, which is super exciting. But how do you see the competitive scene globally? Can you share some of your thoughts on that, please?
I mean, there's just a lot of strong regions, mostly in Europe. Spain, obviously, 2 wins at WTC in a row. Now they've got a World Championship. UK is pretty strong. Poland's come third twice now. Won WTC last year. Gotten pretty far at Worlds. There's a few very strong little pockets there across Europe. And I mean, it's getting harder. It's harder. It is interesting. Like, we've had some players sticking around for a while. It'll be interesting to see if in those communities someone new comes up. The Spanish team that won WTC this year was very different to last year's team, which is really cool to see as well. So, I mean, there's lots of strong new players showing up all over the world, and that's kind of what you want to see.
Nah, definitely. And the Spanish teams and the Spanish community have been focusing on competitive play for quite some time, right? They have a whole program to welcome players in and get skilled up, right?
I don't know that much about that. I would assume so. I don't know what they're feeding them over there in Spain when they play Kill Team, but it's something. It's something.
I think it's all the siestas, mate. They get that mid-afternoon nap, recharge their Gore tanks and just
Maybe, yeah.
get straight back into it, right? But the UK has also been, I guess, a solid playground for competitive
Yeah,
engagements in tabletop, right? It's where it
I
all
mean,
started.
it's realistically probably one of the biggest scenes by like player to population ratio, just in general. So you'd be expecting that they do pretty well. Yeah, I mean, they came. I can't remember how they placed the 2024 WTC. They obviously came second this year. Obviously, Dan won World Championship last year, so they're very solid as well. Not quite as like it's crazy that Spain's like player base to like high level player ratio is pretty crazy. Like the fact that they have two teams, popping into top three quite often, is very impressive. Like they just have so many strong players. But yeah, UK is very strong as well. Lots of regions have strong players. Putting together a strong team is like the hard thing. Is like, can you get 5 strong players together? Is really hard.
And Poland as well, right? Smaller population, but stronger concentration with people like Mateos and so forth.
They have a very solid like top 5. Yeah. And their second team is no slouch either. Like they're pretty strong across both. And again, yeah, for a smaller scene, they're very, very strong, especially at the top. And Mateus is coming off of a child and not playing the game for 6 months. So considering that, coming third is pretty impressive for them.
That is solid, mate, because, being a dad myself, I know the spanner that a kid can throw into the mix of, displacing you from a passion like Kill Team or tabletop, right?
Yeah, I mean, Mateus was literally learning how Sanctifiers play during the singles to play them in teams. So,
wow, he's just going full lamb, right?
Yeah. No prep, just figure it out as you go.
Yeah, on the fly. And look, when we kind of pan over, still remaining in Europe, but heading over to somewhere like France, we've got some solid players like Ligerian as well.
Yeah, I mean, France has some solid players too. Did we play? I think we played the second French team, I think. So not their top team. But yeah, I mean, we played the 2 German teams as well. Their captain was very good. I played them both in singles and in teams. We matched twice, and both games were extremely close. I think I won both games by maybe 3-4 points only. With Warp Coven versus Sanctifiers, which was a very intense matchup. So lots of solid scenes there.
And heading over to the US, I mean, we've got some really good players like Orion and Kimmy Jelly. I'll always call him Kimmy Jelly.
Yeah. There's Shane as well.
Shane, spot on. Yeah. How is the US scene?
I mean, I haven't interacted with them in a little while, but they're pretty solid. They're a pretty big scene. I think they're a bit more spread out just because, like, compared to Europe, it's such a massive trek around, and obviously they couldn't make it to WTC, so they don't have as much international exposure. I hope they can make it next year. It'll be good to see them there, see what they could bring into the table.
Yeah, for sure. But they've got some massive events, right? They've got obviously LVO.
I mean, they have the biggest events. They have the biggest. They just have the biggest events. By like in terms of player count, they're the biggest region. Just more spread out. So the more spread out you are, especially like if your top players are spread out, it's much harder to improve. Like it is a limiting factor how many good players you have around you to how much you can improve.
Because they got what? They got LVO, Tacoma, Nova.
Those are the big ones. Yeah. LVO keeps being the biggest event every year, I think, right?
Without fail. It's just a behemoth of an event, right? And held in Las Vegas, I think, people tack on a little bit of a holiday either before or after, right?
I would assume so. Maybe I'm gonna see if I can head over this year and claim some ITC points from them.
Why not, mate? Why not? They're big numbers for ITC points, right? If you have a look at some of the points that are just up for grabs just for attending something like LVO, it's
11th place at LVO was more points than second place at WTC.
And I'm like, that's insane.
Like, okay, sure.
That is insane. Hey, but that's the way it works, right?
I'm gonna go collect some. That's what I'm thinking.
Yeah. And let me ask you, mate. Aside from some of the events you've been to, are there any that you'd want to attend outside of LVO, which we just mentioned? Are there any that you'd be super keen to head over and check out?
I mean, I was at Nova last year to do the Kill Team stream for the 3rd edition like preview stuff,
That's
And
right.
I'd love to go to Nova again. Nova was super sick. The event hall was super sick. Beyond just Kill Team, like it had this amazing Lord of the Rings event there too, with like crazy scenic tables. It was just like, oh look, the movie's just happening over there. They're just playing the Lord of the Rings film, like the greatest epic fantasies
Wow.
ever. And I'm just like, this is the sickest thing ever. So Nova was pretty awesome, and I'd love to head down again for that.
Yeah, Matt runs a good event down there for sure. The feedback has just been phenomenal, right?
Mm-hmm.
And let me ask you a question, Alexa. What do you think, aside from the atmosphere, for anybody looking to attend some of these events, what do you think makes a good event? What do you think are the building blocks for a great Kill Team tournament?
I mean, terrain. Like, I think Kill Team tournaments are fairly just fun as long as you have like the right people there, which most of the time you do. Like, you just
Yeah.
need the right tables, the right stuff, a good venue. Like the venue, I mean, realistically, for most events, the venue is super important and probably the most important thing. Like, if you can get a good venue, everything else kind of falls into place.
Mm.
Um,
Good
and then yeah,
location, access to good amenities.
yeah,
But
good food, good aircon. If it's hot, you don't want to be playing in a warehouse melting down.
this takes me
No
back to the
shade, no shade, but
takes me back to the combat company. My first
yeah,
tournament. My
yeah.
goodness,
We were both, yeah,
that was a different kind of sweaty, wasn't it, mate?
yeah. I was shaking during that tournament, but
Far out. It's got to be
uh,
done. Got to be
yeah,
done. You
yeah.
live, you learn for sure. That was
That's it.
gold.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. No, no. I
Right.
mean, that
I
was just
literally,
yeah. So you go.
I was just saying, I brought cans of deodorant for that kind of sweat. Right? It was hilarious.
I mean, it was just unfortunate. Like that day was just the hottest day that week by like 5-10 degrees, and we're all stuck in this warehouse.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, at the very, very early stages, there wasn't much to go off. But, as things progress now and you look at the other tournaments that are being run across the country, I think everybody's lifted their level of execution, right? Because I know in addition, to having terrain and making sure you've got a good venue, access to amenities like public transport and so forth. And I know WTC does that really well. A really important thing is executing as well and just making sure things run to time and are appropriate.
Yeah, yeah,
There's nobody, kind of stepping out of bounds to do things that might, be seen in a negative capacity, but execution of the overall thing is really important as well. I mean, having access to great players like yourself that turn up, I think is a really good thing as well. So, yeah, there are many factors, when putting an event like that together, because it really is, it's event organization, and then a level under, it's more tournament organization. And
yeah.
once you've got those two elements in place, I think it makes for an amazing day or two out, right?
Yeah, I mean, tournaments are amazing. I play most of my games of Kill Team at tournaments, right? Not anywhere else, really.
Yeah. Not at Chatswood Warhammer on a Thursday night, right?
Oh, I'm busy running everything. I can't play. I have to make sure no one is cheating.
That is
You
gold.
don't know
That
what
is
those
gold.
you don't know what those sweats are doing up there in North Sydney.
Mate, bump of the hand, pushing a model forward an inch.
No.
I'm just
That's
cheeky.
all good. No,
Just
we don't have that kind of
cheeky.
problem. No.
Cheeky. But what was I going to say? So, look, pivoting back to the game, right? I think the game's in a great state. I mean, obviously, opposite Dark Star, we've got Black Fangs out, and they seem to be OP on paper. I haven't actually played against them yet. I'll be doing that Wednesday night. I've been feverishly painting my Dark Star team. But I'm of the opinion that some teams might launch and some teams might be really powerful. We've just seen the I guess changes made to Canoptech. What are your personal thoughts on Black Fangs?
I think they're probably slightly too good, but not crazy overpowered. Like, they're not Canoptech, like not even close. They're not Sanctifiers. They're probably like release Goremongers, where they're kind of really good in certain matchups, but they can lose definitely.
Yeah.
I played a game against Goremongers with Black Fangs this week against one of the Polish players, and I won with the Black Fangs, but just barely. And it was like, oh, this actually doesn't feel that crazy. And I think something like Darkstar should be okay, honestly, into them. You just gotta get
for sure.
like you just hit them with the melter, and if you roll, 3 hits, they die. Like, they just die. I don't know what to tell you. He's dead. Put him away.
Yeah. What if they
cool
park inside the storm?
Yeah, exactly. They have some cool stuff. Like they have some really cool tech. I think they have the potential to be really oppressive, but I don't think they're that crazy overpowered. Like they're kind of like slightly worse than Deathwatch, I think. Which Deathwatch is probably a top 5 team, so they're like maybe in like sixth best team, something like that.
Yeah, I think the limited release might actually be working in the favor of the meta, because there's not that many teams released. Although you look at some of the people like Dipper, Grant, and Sam, they've already gone and kit bashed.
They've already repurposed their Phobos into Phobos 2, yeah.
Phobos 2.0, literally, right? Just add a wolf and off you go.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's gold. But what was the score, if you don't mind me asking, with the game?
15-13 my way, I think.
Yeah,
we both played flank, scored 5 on flank, and then I scored 1 more on kill op, which became 2 more on kill op. We tied on crit op, we tied on tack op, and I won on kill op.
That's actually not bad. You've given me hope, mate.
I mean, Goremongers have some tools to deal with them. Like they have a lot of mortal wounds, and they can increase their attack dice back to 4. He did get some. He got some very good crack grenades off, which overperformed the average, which definitely helped him. But even so, like it never felt truly hopeless, like some might have feared.
Yeah, no steamroll, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, no steamroll.
Man, they got 13 wounds. They can die.
Yeah, I get it. But it's just the sheer offensive element and buff element that I think throws some people off, right? And to be honest, when you saw on paper how Deathwatch looked, I think a lot of people were fearful. And don't get me wrong, they're a formidable team, but they're not unbeatable, right? So I think, rather than jumping to conclusions like I have in the past, I'm just going to wait and see how things go.
I mean, Deathwatch are very good. The problem is less Deathwatch not being super strong. It's more Canoptek being even stronger.
Yeah.
It's like they released the nuclear bomb and the hydrogen bomb next to each other, and you're like, okay. I mean, these are both big bombs, but one is much bigger.
Definitely. It was so good to see the balanced starter slate changes. I mean, not in time for my last league game, but it's good to see them come through for sure. I think that's going to balance the game out a little bit. Do you think the nerfs to Canoptek were enough, or do you think they need more?
They need more. The nerfs are good, but they generally don't hit the new teams very heavily. So the fact that we got any nerfs at all is a big sign. I think my nerf would be to make the little bugs not respawn unless you spend a command point for it or something like that.
Fair call.
There's just too much damage for free with no downside.
And then
that's really the thing that makes them really oppressive to deal with.
The D3 as well is just a slap in the face at the end, right?
Yeah, it really is.
It's just chip damage. I think people have called it out before, and I was listening to Jason from Just Another Kill Team podcast doing the rounds at WCW, and he was literally, one of the questions out of the 4 was, how would you fix Canoptek? Yeah. And everybody was saying, no res on the prawns, and I was just like, you know what, that makes total sense.
I mean, it's just an easy fix to their biggest pain point, because. Otherwise you just have to nerf a lot of things a little bit, whereas this is a nice one. It's a clean, simple change that no one's gonna get confused by it. Everyone knows what's happening, and it fixes the main problem with the team. And then the other, no one has fun when those prawns do stuff. The Canoptek player isn't having fun doing that, and their opponent is the fun of the team is the big cool spiders doing crazy stuff, and the Geomans are doing cool magic tricks and all that. It's not prawns running up and doing randomly 9 damage, dying, and then coming back. That's not the cool part of the team. That's just kind of, tacked on there.
Hey, and the other thing was not counting towards the kill up as well, right?
Yeah.
I think those were the 2 biggest things. But hey, how good is that Banish gun?
I mean, it's ridiculous.
But literally, just the kind of just the lore behind it and the aesthetic is just phenomenal, right? Having this thing that just deletes you off the board.
Yeah, I miss when my goats could be angry and just not get banished, but I guess it makes sense. So.
Literally, just delete it. It's insane. It's insane,
yeah.
right? And tell me, when we look at the game, and just pivoting back to this, because I always ask people, if they had a magic wand or if they could change the game in any way or add anything to it. And I know you've done a lot of not theory crafting, but you've had a lot of ideas in the past with regards to particular teams. Like, what would you do? Well, what are some of the suggestions you would think about bringing into the game?
Into the game or to a team? I mean, into the game, look, I want my 3 tac ops and 5 objective markers, okay? That's what I want.
Really?
I think it would fix it. I mean, the thing is, like I said, different people want different things. And I like the complexity of the game, and I like that element, especially in a competitive setting. And this is where I'm like saying, like, some people would prefer the simplicity. Some people prefer the complexity. I personally really liked when I had 6 objectives to worry about and 3 tac ops to think about and all of these different elements to plan ahead and all of that, because that's what I liked about the game. And not everyone will like that, and that's why it's my magic one that I get to do what I want with, right?
but tell me, why 5 or 6 objective markers? Can you talk me through that a bit?
I mean, it just gives more to do other than fight. And again, this is what I'm saying. I really like having to assess, should I go for a kill, or should I go for an objective, or should I go for a tac op? And when you've got only 3 objectives and 1 tac op, which often doesn't require you to really do anything, like saying like flank, where, to get my tac op, I'm going to charge and fight, right? And so a lot of that complexity gets stripped down into a fairly straightforward flowchart, whereas if you have 5 objectives or 6 objectives, you have to think, okay, I need to somehow get this objective and this objective, but I also have to kill that guy and kill that guy. There's a lot more to think about and plan ahead for. That's basically it. And again, this is very much my preference. I know that not everyone likes having tons of objectives and tons of tac ops, but that's what I want. So, it's a question about me. And I can admit that some people might not like that, but that's so I like the game.
Hey, one thing I've noticed is, compared to what we played last edition with the multiple objective markers, like the 6 of, there's been less tabling, right, with the 3 objective markers. And I know, people are starting to play a lot more cagey and trying to, assess how they would score best on crit, kill, attack. But what I noticed, especially at KTSO, is matches were taking a lot longer. There was far less difference between the points. That example you just mentioned, when you were playing Black Fangs versus Goremongers, 2-point difference, but games were really going the whole length of 2 hours. I mean, there were only a few instances at KTSO where people were finishing early, and that was probably due to just some really bad dice rolls and relying on them, right? But most of the games were running to full time. What are your thoughts on that? Because I know, we've spoken about, elements of alpha strikes and stuff in the past as well. And, games not being fun when people get tabled, end of Turning Point 2 or start of Turning Point 3. Do you reckon bringing those elements back with your magic wand would take the game back to a state like that, potentially?
Well, I think there's a few elements to it. One is that people are just better at the game now than they were 2 years ago. Everyone's level is higher. There's a really funny thing. I don't know if you played League of Legends ever, but if you go back and watch Season 1 League of Legends, the pro players, the best players in the world at the time, would be terrible nowadays by the standards of a regular player. And the same thing is happening in Kill Team. If you look at what the best players were doing 3-4 years ago, it would be terrible gameplay today. I think this is just the result of the level of players getting higher and the level of knowledge getting higher and the amount of information that's out there getting higher. I mean, this edition, there were a ton of crazy alpha strikes between things like Hydra Tech, just teleporting someone in your back line. This stuff existed this edition too. So I don't think that has to do with there being more objectives and more tac ops. In theory, should mean tabling takes longer.
Yeah.
Also, the terrain is a big part of it. Volkus is way harder to table someone on than Octarius. There's just a whole bunch of other things that are influencing this that aren't related to the objectives. Like, again, if you have more objectives and more tac ops, you're spending more action points not fighting. Part of it might be that the lack of scoring on turn 1 means that people don't fight as early. So, like,
it's literally staging.
A very common mistake last edition would be people overextending their models to score points on turn 1, which then leads to a bunch of their stuff dying. Because, again, this is down to like the level of gameplay is higher now than back then. People would probably understand better that you can give up points. And then secondly, the terrain was more open and all of this stuff. So I think it's just down to other changes in the game are leading to this, not the lack of objectives. Because objectively, if you're spending more actions not shooting, less things will die.
Yeah, that's a very fair call. They definitely have influence on the game for sure. Tell me, mate, what's your favorite team of all time?
It's Corsairs.
Corsairs? Why?
Yeah. They're just like everything I like. They do absurd amounts of damage. They move really fast. They can do lots of different styles of mission. They can be very flexible. They have a very high skill ceiling, and they can fall apart in an instant.
Angry space pirates.
Yeah. I've got like 5 completely different painted Corsair teams at this point.
Honestly, I've seen them. You've been sharing them in the Discord. They're phenomenal. And who's your MVP out of that team? Duelist?
The Duelist is the easy answer. But the more interesting answer is the comms lady who has a power sword. Who hands out a bunch of APL and then pulls out a power sword and cuts someone in half on turn 3 or turn 4.
Oh, goodness.
Like, especially when you combine her with the Felarch, you can get effectively a 4 action point activation because he can do a free action instead of doing a dash. So he can like charge, fight, shoot, and pick up an objective marker or something like that. And he can't do that without her help. And then she's got a power sword and chops people up or heals people. So the Duelist kills people. She does a lot more.
She heats up her butter knife and goes ham.
Yeah, exactly. That's it.
And tell me, what's your current go-to team at the moment? Is it going to be Black Fangs? Is that who you're going to be rocking for a few games?
No. I can't. I don't like playing Space Marines. My head explodes when I roll 3+ saves. I mentally crash out. So I am playing Felgor at the moment.
Nice.
And I'm waiting for the new Sisters team to come out. I'm super excited to paint them up, and I hope that they'll be fun to play. I think they will.
Mate, I am hanging for the Warp Talons, right? Literally.
Yeah. They're gonna be sick. They're gonna be crazy. Listen, I'm not saying they're gonna be crazy, but I've got this feeling. My gut's telling me.
Even from the looks, mate, I'm just excited. You get a Lord in the box. Oh my god.
Oh, the models are gorgeous. I mean, that's why I'm excited for the Sisters. I don't care what the rules are. I'm gonna spend like 100 hours painting those models. So.
Oh, solid. And tell me, when we look, ahead in Kill Team, what are some of the teams you'd like to see next? I know for a fact that if I could will Exodites to happen, I would be chanting every chant and spell just to make them come to life, right? Because the rumors have been out for quite some time, but who would you love to see?
I mean, look, I would have said Exodites, but you already said it, so I have to think of something different. So let me think. I would love... what would be cool? I'm just trying to think, like, lore-wise. I'd love a new Rogue Trader team, maybe. That would be super cool. Like a new take, like a Kill Team 3.0 modern take on Rogue Traders. I think would be super awesome. Anything else that'd be really cool? I think that's the main one. Yeah.
I'd love to see a Gene Stealer team, like Compendium.
Yep.
That would be great. But we've just been given the Raveners, but if we could have like, I guess, a toolbox Gene Stealer team, I think that would be my close second, right?
Yeah, I mean, I would love another Wormblade. Wormblade and Brood Brothers are 2 of my favorite teams. So another Gene Stealer Cults team, why not? I think that'd be great.
honestly, if we could revamp a Gene Stealer like Wormblade team, that would be cool as well.
Yeah, like a really cool mixed team would be really interesting.
Legitimately, like something a bit more toolboxy, something that would replace the whole declassification of Warp Coven has left, but something a little bit more different in flavor. So I think like a Gene Stealer, Wormblade.
I would love like a Nurgle cultist sort of style team.
Ooh.
Like very heavily armored, heavily armed cultists, like 8 wound, 4 up, 5 up, feel no pain, like big gun cultists.
Yeah.
Like slow moving, like lumbering, like almost servitor sized Death Guard auxiliaries. I think it'd be sick.
Oh, that's so solid. That is such a solid call. I think, don't you think they'd be releasing maybe an Emperor's Children team potentially before they would go and release some more Nurgle flavored minis? Because I think things like Flawless Blades would have huge play in Kill Team.
I mean, I would assume we'll get some sort of. I mean, honestly, a Slanesh cultist team as well, because they need their model range. Like, you got to think a little bit what they should, like, what they're gonna want to add to a range, right? So, like, Slanesh cultists would fit. It's something that the range is currently missing. So having like an imperial nobility that has fallen into decadence. So they've got a bunch of their like elite personal guards that have been mutated, and you've got like an imperial noble leading, who's got this like, crazy like sound sword or something.
Oh, solid. But then all the 40k players would take out models, mate.
Well, they're going to do that no matter what. I don't know what to tell you.
That whole gateway is awesome. I'm genuinely going to miss some of the teams that have just been declassified because they seriously still have such good play. I mean, look at Commandos, right? But alas, we've got Wreckers and hopefully more coming up. So fingers crossed, right?
Yeah, I mean, Commandos were... Actually, I played a little bit of Commandos this edition, and I loved how they played. So I'm going to... I mean, some of my... Like, a bunch of my favorite teams are gone. So, like, Corsairs, Commandos...
Wormblade, Warp Coven.
Wormblade, Deathcore. Yeah.
Oh, wow. Deathcore got hit the hardest, right? In terms of passive nerfs. I mean, we've got a friend playing them at the moment and he's not having a good time with them. But back in the day, I mean, Johnny and Sam used to play that team with such prowess.
Yeah, look, I think they were okay for a little while. Canoptek is just kind of a turbo counter that's kind of miserable to play.
Yeah.
Canoptek just makes it shooting teams are like Aquilons are a team that is extremely strong and then just can't beat Canoptek right now. Like, once Canoptek get nerfed, the team to watch, if you want to watch what team's going to be broken, okay, here's my call, it's going to be Aquilons. As soon as Canoptek is gone, Aquilons are going to swoop in, jump out of that Valkyrie, straight into S tier. That's your prediction there.
Mate, they're absolute beasts at the moment, mate. Like, I couldn't, they just delete teams off the board.
Yeah, it's just they can't beat Canoptek. And maybe Felgor's kind of hard too. We'll see. Felgor's probably more playable than Canoptek. Really, it's just getting gatekept. But they're a very strong team. They're a very, very strong team.
Hey, Aleksa, it's been a great conversation. We're coming to the top of the hour. Before we go, is there anybody you'd like to shout out?
Oh, I'm really bad at these because I feel like I'm leaving someone out if I shout anyone out.
No problem. Well, maybe just your WTC team.
Yeah. You know what? Shout out for Taz for being the interstater, coming with us. Showing up. That was pretty sweet. We're going to be heading up to Brisbane GT in a few months for sure. We're heading down to Canberra, a bunch of us, to pillage HeroCon. We're gonna smash it. It's gonna be good times. It's been a great time. Pleasure chatting as always.
Yeah, likewise, mate. Thank you for your time. Thank you for your insights. Can't wait to see what's up for you next. We'll obviously be watching intently during next WTC to make sure Australia gets up into the top 3, which is where I know you want them to be.
Well, we're getting on that podium.
Yeah, for sure, mate. But going to be staying very close to your travels and activities, and hope to catch you soon again here, mate.
Pleasure of having me on.
Thank you so much, mate.